I will see if I can actually get those done. No. So, first thing first, for audio, if you actually want to split audio into multiple sources like I've done here, where I have game audio, voice audio, and browser audio. What I do is that if I actually stream and I listen to a podcast at the same time, I put that in browser audio so that I can actually have a stream on. I can actually, let's see, we can open up you can open up a YouTube video. Let's see if we can find something. Ah, yes. As you can see here, you don't get any of this audio. That's because only I can. Yeah, exactly. You don't hear it because I don't want you to hear it. I could use this to listen to a podcast while I stream. I like to do multitasking. I want to learn stuff constantly. So usually I have a podcast on while I actually do a stream. Multitasking. I also have like game audio on its own slider for OBS, so that I can actually adjust that. I can have voice audio in Discord in a different slider, so I can actually adjust that separately, so that I can actually adjust that without just adjusting the desktop audio and mess up audio when you actually stream. So how have I done that? Well, first thing first, you actually need to copy etc pulse default.pa to your home directory .pulse to there. You probably don't have this folder from before, so you actually need to make this .pulse folder. And once you have done that, I would recommend you to edit it and go to the bottom. And here we have the different modules. I make a null sync and call it for game audio. And I update the sync's properties and add the description game audio so that it actually gets the names here, game audio. I then update the source prop list to monitor of game audio so that I can actually have that too. So that I get monitor of game audio here in my list here. So if I actually move this over here, on playback, I can change this to
3.9 gigahertz.
and you can now hear it.
Overclocking. It's got a bits power, 360 memory, 256 gig kit, although I did try other memory kits. This is a full build. We're doing 4 terabytes of flash. This is Asus's.
So that's how I have set this up. It's very nice for you as if you actually record videos, if you stream, and you don't need any hardware for this. This is built into Pulse Audio. And also, you can do this in Jack, like the audio system for Linux. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I will change it. Hang on. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I don't have a Discord channel. You usually find me in. Well, actually, I do have a Discord channel. I do have a Discord channel. I can just drop that in there, but it's easier to find me in Chris Titus Tech's Discord channel. But I can't just drop a link to that here right now because of how things are set up there right now. Honestly, I would just give you my Discord name. Hang on. There we go. So, in order to actually split the audio, you actually need to load up your audio sinks. So you need to make a device for game audio and make it readable, because by default it's called null. No, but I can actually make a gist of this so that people can actually just get that. And you make one for voice audio, and then you make one for browser audio, and you can add multiple of these. By default, there is a delay of 200 milliseconds for these null syncs. And we do not want 200 milliseconds latency, so we can put in 1 millisecond latency here, which will make it so that the audio is like always in sync. And this is also why a lot of people do not like Pulse Audio, because by default you have latency on extra syncs. And that's why a lot of people prefer Jack. I like Pulse Audio. I've liked Pulse Audio since it actually got released. And you can actually set this up to have 1 millisecond delay. Now, the audio device, which has this a long, very easy to remember name here, you can actually easily get this using this command here. I will actually just oops. You can use this command here to actually get hold of the syncs. This will get you the name, as you can see here, for your devices. Pulse Audio command. PACMD is Pulse Audio command. So you can actually probe things in Pulse Audio. And you can get the list sources to get your input of sources to get your microphones. Yeah, and if you're wondering what this Scream is, this is not a Scream. This is actually a protocol called Scream. It's literally the audio from my Windows virtual machine, hence why it goes to game audio. But yeah, once you add this in here, you can just run Pulse Audio kill, and it will restart the audio server. I am not going to do it right now because that will actually kill the stream. No, this is CSH. So I will actually make a gist of this. Am I even signed in? No, I am not signed in. Ooh. Am I signed in on this one? Ow. Am I signed in on Vivaldi? I think I am. Hey, I'm signed in. Okay. Yeah, PACMD does not really permanently store your config though, but it lets you modify it on the fly. So I can just make a new device here on the fly using these commands. So if I do PA CMD, oops, and I just add that, oops, browser audio, let's call it browser audio 2. I should get a new sync once I actually load the config. So if I do let's see if I can remember this. Yeah. So if I now just do let's see, sync. There we go. I now have a new sync called null that I can use, and it will appear on both recording and on. It will appear both on recording and on playback, and you can actually start routing to it. But you don't want it to be called null, because you would have 3 outputs named null. Hence why you're changing the properties. Let's see, unload module loopbacks. Unload. Okay, I can't really do this without actually unloading all of them. Oops. So currently I have a null output that I can actually route audio to now, which is the general idea. I mean, I could make a YouTube video on this, really. I could. I have actually considered doing that. I'm just more of a jump on stream, show people stuff, and then just export it to YouTube. But I could make a dedicated video to it. Yes, let's call this Chris Titus Timer. I mean, it's something that everyone should really know, and it's such an old trick that I learned back in 2010 or something like that. But very few people are actually talking about it in depth. So split audio guide. Yes, fist. First, I can spell. Yeah, I don't think many people actually know about the secrets of Pulse Audio, because Pulse Audio is not really well documented. Like, I still see Chris wrangling with the Pulse Audio, and I tried to help him, but like his audio setup is kind of very different. So let's first make the .pulse folder, and we then want to, yes, see all. So why do we want to copy the system default.pa to your user? Well, it means that if you break the default PA and you have no idea how to repair it, you can just delete it, and your audio will be back to default. It's a very easy way to not mess up your system. we go. Oops. Let's see, we can just grab this. I'll just use bash for this because it actually gives it somewhat of a syntax highlighting. So let's see. Split audio, sync name. Description and description. Oops. Yeah. Sync name, and we want this to be sync name, sync name, device name. Yeah, there's a lot of secrets that people do not know about. People always learn something new in Linux pretty much every single day for the most part. Like, I'm a 12-year Linux veteran, and I still learn new things every now and then. Like, there's some other stuff that other people know about that I have no clue about. Thank you for the follow, Sason. So for sync and okay, for your, let's call it just audio channel. Let's see, we can just hide this now. We don't really need that. And I am not a markdown genius at all, so I'll probably make a few revisions on this. Let's see. Oops, 2. Now, so, and then we go, and I will just cheat and just use the command I just wrote here. So we want the actual things. I do remember the old guide where I actually got this command originally from. They actually had mistyped it as list stinks. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh, right, I actually need to rename this, I think. Oops. Edit. .md, there you go. There we go. I keep forgetting that I actually need to have a proper file name for this. There we go, for everyone who actually wants to do this. You can add... I'll actually change this to say that you can add multiple. Yeah, add this for each channel you want. I'm used to Linux, you don't need file extensions. I've been on Linux for way too long, you don't need file extensions. So yeah, this is a nice way to actually split audio, and what will happen then once you actually... Oh, I should actually write in that you need to restart Pulse Audio. Let's see. Let's see. See, Pavu control. To your new... There we go. So once you actually have restarted your Pulse Audio, you will actually get audio here, and you will be able to... Well, we'll just use this new dummy sync as an example. If you have something playing audio, you can just open Pulse Audio control, and you can select where you want the audio to from that program to play. Yeah, I will put it into the stream archive, the Twitch archive. I also have a stream archive on YouTube. I will split the Assassin's Creed stream and the actual stream for this, so you can also find it there. It's actually, what was my YouTube again? Because I don't really advertise it that much, because I don't really do that much on it. Let's see. It's literally just Ikari Night. I can just drop by my channel. I wonder if my old username still works. Hey, it still works. Oh, on my Threadripper computer, only one. Only one. But yeah, with the audio, you don't need to change anything on recording. Recording will look like a mess because of your extra audio channels. But on playback, you just have something play audio and you just change it to go into game audio, voice audio, or browser audio, depending on what you have named those extra channels. And then on OBS, I will just put this on Looking Glass so we don't get the infinite look into the void. So if I then go on here and go into, actually I need it. Okay, so this will look absolutely horrible. So if you go into here and click on the plus and put in audio output capture, I would just put that on null for now. So you then literally just select what channel you want to listen to, and you want it to listen to one of these channels. So if I wanted to add game audio, I'd just set it to game audio. And that way I will get this game audio slider down here. However, since I usually do like streams where I might be on with friends, I also have a voice audio here. And since I usually do games and voice, I have actually set them up as the desktop audio devices. And then when I need desktop audio, I have added the desktop audio source. Thank you for follow, Keko. So I added the desktop audio source for desktop on that actual scene. So if I actually go somewhere else, I do not have the other scenes. So that's how I use this for OBS. It's pretty nice. And when I started streaming on Twitch, OBS didn't exist on Linux. You actually had to use FFmpeg and other hacky solutions to stream on Twitch. Those were the horrible days. FFmpeg has gotten a lot better though at streaming to Twitch. I would give it that. Okay, so have you all come up with something that I should do in a VM then? Is there anything you would like me to cover? You can get pretty advanced with VMs and me because I've been using VMs for about 2 decades. Firing up a VM. I mean, these are like these are like the VMs that I usually use. Like, okay, I still have Solaris 10 here as a joke because actually, how many of you people have actually seen Solaris 10? Because Solaris 10 is weird. It's a really weird operating system, or it has a really weird desktop. I mean, we can fire it up. Like, this is from 2008 or 2009, maybe 2010. I can't even remember. Yeah, 2010. Oh yes, you can brick this. You can brick Solaris pretty easily. This is what all the data centers were using before they switched over to over to TrueNAS and FreeNAS for storage. This was the only way you could get CFS before. So you had to run Sun Solaris to actually get CFS before. I'm so glad that's no longer the case. Was it root that you logged in with? I can't even remember. Yes, it was root you logged in with, so... Welcome to the Java desktop. This is a desktop environment that runs in GNOME 2 and Java. It's a weird amalgamation of a desktop environment that existed for a single release of Solaris. So, like, you have the GNOME 2 panel, and then you have, you know, very serious data center applications that you would find on only a data center server, right? You have applications, you have your webmail, you have your Thunderbird Mail, you have your Firefox web browser, and most importantly, you have games like Mahjong and Snake. You know, very serious data center stuff. This is a joke I really like to actually do every single time, because Solaris was like the data center OS before CFS was open sourced. Actually, what version of Firefox was this even running? I want to find out. Oh god, this looks horrible. Let's see, file. No, help about Mozilla Firefox. Oh yes, Firefox 359. We're running Firefox 359 from 2010. Shut down the computer. I just wanted to show that it's such a old piece of history right now, because you can't actually get this ISO file anymore. I just had it laying around on a USB stick. But yeah, that was the Java desktop environment. It was an actual thing that Sun made. Yes, I can imagine Python instead of Java. It's called Qtile. Oh god, did I set it to reboot? Yeah, I think I set it to reboot. Oops. Hang on. This is fine. No, don't ask me. No, there, it's off. I wanted to get into Qtile. I just never got around to it because I love Awesome so much, and I know literally no Lua, but I like Awesome. I like hacking around on Awesome. I also have an OS X server running. Well, OS X server. It's a OS X system. Like, I use this computer for development. Actually, let me just try and get something. Hang on, let me get a lamp because I'm disappearing into the void slowly. Give me 2 seconds. People, I found a lamp, and what actually happened here? Refind? This shouldn't be refined. I'm sorry, what? Is this set to boot from... Oh yeah, it's booting from a NIC first. No, I don't want it to boot from a NIC. Why did it go and refind? Okay. I am a Vim person. I use Vim, but I also use Nano. I use Nano when I actually show people how to do things in a text editor on the terminal, but I use Vim personally. And then also spaces. Spaces are better than tabs. Okay, now that it doesn't try to do a network boot from nothing, let's see if we can actually get access to the Mac system now. Hey! Okay, let me rephrase that. If you're writing up a document and you need to actually have things at the exact location, tabs are way superior. If you're making a script, spaces are better. Are you happy now, Ray? Are you happy? Did I answer the trick question correctly this time? Hey, I still remember the username and password I set on this. So this is my Mac development machine. What I use this for is literally, I push a script over to it, run it, test if it works. If it works, good. Oh, and then I might compile it to binary if needed. This is all that this Mac computer is used for. It's literally copy script to it, run script, fix bugs, compile, deliver. And it's a high Sierra one, so that I can actually support some versions behind Catalina. But I only compile into 64-bit because of Catalina. And this runs relatively well, actually. I mean, there's a few graphical glitches here and there, but like relatively, it runs well. There we go. Some here in is it plus? Yes, here we go. Proof that it's just not some reskinned Linux. What else can I show off in here? I mean, I do have Windows 10 development, but it's Windows 10. I think people are tired of Windows 10. I do have an Android virtual machine that I never use. I do have a Active Directory server that runs on Linux, if that's interesting for anyone. I don't really know what I should show you guys right now, though. What would be interesting for you people? Because I'm just a boring system administrator that has very little to do. Like these are all the virtual machines that I'm actually running on my actual home server. I can zoom in probably some more here. There you go. That's readable for you guys. Yeah, Proxmox is awesome. We actually use it in the business I work for. We're moving over from our hack job of KVM that we have set up because we actually needed. We were actually running like 3 virtual machines on a machine with only 3 GB of RAM, and we have used that since for the past 7 years, and it's finally time to upgrade it. But we had to custom compile our own QEMU and the KVM and Linux kernel and everything to just make the memory footprint as small as possible. It was worth it. I mean, we saved a lot of money on doing that, but at the moment it's not feasible anymore because of the company's exponential growth. We actually need a better server now, so I had to draft up a new server and deliver that draft to my boss, and he almost got a heart attack over how much I actually asked him to spend. Because it's so unusual for me to actually ask for a budget of $1,500. It's so unheard of from me because usually we just make our own system, and we also we usually just recycle parts on literally everything. But we can't do it for the new server, so we had to buy everything new, and he was like, yeah. If you have any Proxmox questions, though, I can answer those because I've been using it for quite a while now. I even have an OS X system running on inside here. And this will be my new test system for testing scripts and stuff, and this runs Catalina. Although I can't actually show on Twitch how to actually set up OS X inside Proxmox because I don't want the Apple lawyers to come after me. I really wish I could, though. And here's my my Active Directory server. I mean, I can just go into. Oops. Here's my Active Directory server. Oh, there's some system updates for my server. I should probably install those. But yeah, this is using Sential. And Sential has existed for over a decade. They started out as eBox, but Sential's aim was to be the new Active Directory server, or the new Windows server, but for Linux. And they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, they're lacking on some areas, but for what you get with this, it's pretty good. And it's all made in Perl too, so I know Perl. I could just go into the configs and just change things. I think it was on DHCP. Yeah. On advanced options here, I actually I actually hacked around on the thin client setup for this, so that I could actually have different boot files depending on what type of computer you would try to network boot. I don't want to recommend people to learn Perl right now, because Perl is a pretty heavy language to learn. Like, you need to actually have the right mindset to learn Perl. If you're gonna do a lot of data manipulation and string editing, Perl is very nice to learn because of the regular expressions are built into the actual language. But you can just do that in Python now, so. Wait, so did you Konsta? What I'm trying to understand what I'm trying to understand what you're meaning there. Did you have a 2 terabyte hard drive that you mounted to a folder, but like the partition size on it is only 40 gigabytes and you can't adjust it? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, well, is this in Linux or in Windows? I'm pretty sure it's probably in Linux since you're here. Or is this in Proxmox by chance? Okay, it's in Proxmox. So so resizing through the command line is a pain, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't do it anymore in the command line because it's such a pain. But what I would recommend you to do is turn off your Proxmox server unless it's not any important stuff that you have on there. Like, nothing is running on that disk at the moment. Unhook unmount the disk and unhook it. Plug it into your main machine and resize the partition there using gparted. Gparted is such a amazing tool, and would this be a good idea to do while my virtual machine is running? Probably not. Hang on, let me fix that. And shut down. Just waiting for Windows 10 to actually shut down, because I don't think it's a good idea for me to open. Oh. Okay, I had a few dropped frames because of render lag. Because my Linux computer went like, oh, there's an NVIDIA card here now. Okay, so gparted is amazing. I would recommend to just shut down your Proxmox server or unmount the disk if nothing is using it, and plug it into your main computer and just fire up gparted. Did you set it up as LVM or something? Which one is this? This is 4 terabytes. Okay, this one I need to do a file check on. Because I know if you set it up in as LVM in Proxmox, it will be a bit weird. Did you format it in Proxmox by any chance? Because I usually just pre-format my stuff before I plug it into Proxmox. That's my home. That's the 1 terabyte SSHD. Huh, okay. So yeah, you should actually have the whole size of it then. That's weird. Do you have Discord? Then we can actually take a look at that at some point. Because that sounds really weird. Are you sure it's not like that it's using 40 gigabytes, but it has like the remainder free? Okay, not that one. It's DFH. If you run df-h, you will be able to see how big the partition is and how much size there is on it. Like on this thing. My SDD1 is on 9.1 terabyte. It has used 3 terabytes and I have 5.6 available. That's one way for you to actually easily check if everything is alright. That would be my recommendation, to check if the partition layout is right. Yeah, that seems right. The size is 1.8 terabytes. You have used 163 gigabytes, and you have 1.6 terabytes free. That seems correct. It might be just a visual bug. Also, since you actually do use Proxmox, I will give you a tip for Proxmox actually. If your The tip for Proxmox is that use LXC containers as much as possible. If what you're setting up can run in LXC, run it in LXC. Because LXC containers work very similarly to a virtual machine, but without the overhead. So I currently have 3 virtual machines running. My OS X, Windows 10, because I can't really run those without actual virtualization, and my Active Directory server. Those are the ones that I run in a virtual machine. The reason I run the Active Directory server for inside a virtual machine is because it actually needs a physical disk. It's the only way for it to actually run. It needs a physical disk. It needs physical disk access, so it needs to think that it's on an actual computer. For my media server, I run it inside a container. Thanks for a follow, Vampep. Interesting name. Thanks for a follow, Konstanakis. Thanks for a follow. So I run all my everything else in containers because they take so much little resources. So if I go here now, so my media server is using 0% CPU out of 2 CPUs that I gave it. Yeah, I zoomed in. How's this? Is this readable? So I have three virtual machines. I have my Active Directory, Windows 10, and OS X. Windows 10 and OS X because, as I said, I need to virtualize those. And my Active Directory server because it actually needs to think that it's on an actual computer. My media server is running in a LXC container, and so does like everything else here. Because the overhead is so much smaller. Like look at how much memory usage I use. I only use 167 megabytes for my media server. While my Active Directory server is using 2.17 gigabytes out of 4. That's a huge difference. However, if I actually jump into the console here and run HTOP, I'm only using 1 gigabyte of memory. I think Docker came first. I think. No, this is running on a server that is like down in my basement. So I custom built a server just to run a ton of virtual machines. Although my main system, I can run a lot of virtual machines too, but those are the ones that I need low latency to actually use. So yeah, a LXC container works very differently from a Docker container. With a Docker container, when you make the Docker container, it's just you base it off an image, but the container doesn't contain any data. And you recreate that container when you like restart the service. That's the idea. And you can't update the container. In order to update the container, you need to wipe it essentially, because it's not you're not supposed to use it as a like virtual machine. LXC containers works a bit differently. They behave similarly to a virtual machine. Yes, no persistent data on the container. LXC containers are kind of the same. You don't have persistent data either. You're supposed to put the persistent data in volumes. However, if the service goes down, the container still exists, and you can move that container easily between systems. So I can make a backup of my Pi-hole, and I can take the zip file and just move it over to a new Proxmox server and just restore it there. So you can't really do that with the Docker container. There are some hacky solutions to do it, but it's not really how it's supposed to work. So here I have mount points that let me store the configuration files for Pi-hole on a different disk that is physically on my Proxmox server and not inside the container. That way, I can actually just fire up a new container and use the same configs. Yeah. Just shoot me questions on Discord. I will drop my Discord name again in here, so like I'm open. You can just message me. My direct message is always open on Discord. And I'm usually around too. Like I have Discord with me wherever I go. And usually when I'm at work, there might be some time for me to even answer from there too. But yeah, LXC containers works similarly to virtual machines, and you can do upgrades inside them too. Oh, my work is transitioning over to Proxmox for the new server. Currently, work is borrowing a server from me personally, and that runs Proxmox. Because what we currently have is a custom CentOS build with a custom built KVM and custom built QEMU and custom built libvirt to actually have as small memory footprint as possible, so that we can squeeze 3 virtual machines inside 3 gigabytes of RAM. That is no longer feasible, so I actually demanded that we get a new server. My boss is not used to me asking for like to spend more than like a maximum of maybe $700. So when he saw that I asked for a server that would cost us about $1,500, he kind of had a heart attack. He kind of wondered what have you who are you and what have you done to Uwe? Yeah, I just have a single node. I do have more computers I can set up more nodes, but I don't want to. I don't want to pay for the power to just have them running and do nothing on them. So instead, I have just this mega server downstairs with 64 gigs of RAM, and I will slowly upgrade the storage on it. Currently, it only has 2.5 terabytes of storage. I think it only has 2.4 terabytes of storage. Let's see. Yeah, 2.5 terabytes of storage. Because I got the Silverstone CS381 case because I just had like a bajillion hard drives that I just wanted to use, and I had nowhere to put them. So I was like, I'm just gonna get this case and just stuff it full of hard drives, and they're like 1 terabyte hard drives, 500 gigabyte hard drives. So I've set them up. So the way I've configured it is that it's not something I would run in production for obvious reasons. I'm just putting it on here so that I can actually just play around with it. So the way I've set it up is that my SED tank is running CFS, because that way I can keep my CFS skills good and still running. And that runs in a RAID 10. So that's 4 disks. I have 8 in total inside that machine. Well, 9 if you count the M.2, which we don't. Local and local LVM are the M.2, and VMs are 2 500 gigabyte hard drives that I am running in RAID 0 inside an LVM. The reason I do that is because I don't care if I actually lose the VMs. I don't care if I lose the containers or the VMs. I don't care. I have the configurations on the SED tank. That's where my the backup of that is. And that's running in RAID 10. And RAID is not a backup, I know. But the thing is, chances of me losing 2 hard drives there in 2 separate pools is very low. And even if I lose that, my important data is on my Nextcloud, which is also synced encrypted to Google Drive, etc., etc. So I have backups of the important things. But like the configs are in the C tank, and the actual VM disks and container disks are inside the VMs, which is in RAID 0. And then ISOs is literally just a normal ext4 with ISO files, and that's it. I think I also have a... Oh yeah, and I also have a container disk, which I can't even show you in here because I mounted it in FSTAB. So that is my setup, really. It's not something I would run in production. I would actually have... I would have a RAID 10 for cold storage, and then I would probably have a RAID C, RAID C1 or RAID C2 on the other four slots. Yeah, RAID C1 is what I would be using on the other 4 slots, and then all the configurations are on the RAID 10. No. RAID C1 is RAID 5 in CFS. However, there's a problem with CFS though. It's the memory usage is really ridiculously high. I can actually show how ridiculously high the memory usage can go. If I go to summary, so you see I'm using 22 gigabytes of memory right now on the whole Proxmox server. If I go and copy a file to my file share, which is on CFS, this will climb up to about 30 gigabytes in no time. But yeah, RAID C1 is RAID 5 inside CFS itself. So you can have different disks, you can have different speeds, you can mix things with no problems. RAID 5 is still a very, 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 well, it's not really a good thing to run in business, but like since it's backed up to a RAID 10, I can just easily just switch people over to the RAID 10 if I need to actually resilver the RAID C1 array. So there's that, because you will have very degraded performance if just one disk stops working in a RAID 5, no matter if it's in CFS or not. And also, I want to show this. I showed this to one of my friends yesterday. This is a cool 2.5 to 3.5 inch drive caddy. I bought this because I thought it looked freaking cool because it looks like a 3.5 inch disc, right? But you can actually open this and there's a tiny disc inside it. But honestly, I bought this because it looked cool. They actually don't produce this anymore. It's from Orico. But I bought this for a specific use case. I had a computer I could only take 3.5 inch hard drives, and it only did the side mounts, or was it that it only did the mounts below, and none of the conversion kits for 2.5 to 3.5. None of them actually had the holes that I could just screw it in for the right location. And then I just saw this and I was like, this will work. But yeah, this is made by Orico and it's like pure. It's a pure chunk of aluminium. Oh, well, I fooled the whole Discord with it like the other day. Like I held this up and told them this is an SSD, and they didn't believe me, and I actually had the SSD inside there. But I just bought that to actually make it so that I could actually use a 2.5 inch hard drive in a 3.5 inch location that didn't have like mounting holes for 2.5 inch. Pretty much, it has its own controller inside it and everything. See, I also have a cool bot here called Giovanni. This is a bot that uses some light machine learning using and let's see, NLTK, Natural Learning Toolkit. And it reads Discord chat and it learns how combinations of word works in sentences, and it tries to generate its own sentences. And sometimes it just goes in a insult spree on everyone in the Discord server. It's amazing. Like look at this picture. This is how my bot is reacting to images. I also have one that is fantastic. Let's see, where can I get it? There we go. I think you all will appreciate the second one. The second one is pretty great. I like the second one myself. It started as just a fun project, and now the bot is just running on Discord until the API for it doesn't work anymore. Because I don't have time to actually fix it. So what do you think? It's very good at making good reactions every now and then. Yeah, it doesn't do any image recognition. It just randomly decides, hey, I'm gonna post a sentence now, and this here I think is a good sentence because I placed words correctly. So it might just generate some. Yeah, honestly, I think Reddit would freaking love this bot. Because it doesn't look at context, obviously, so it can get offensive. Uh, it can get misinterpreted. But all he does is that he looks at one word, and then he looks at what word after this word is usually used with this word. So, yeah, one word, and it looks for, okay, which one of these three words, for example, is often used with this one word, and it picks one of them, and then it looks for another word to follow after these two, and it looks at like what words are usually used in combination with these two, and then it picks the third one. Then it throws out the first one, and then it looks for a new third word. And it just continues on like that until it creates a sentence, or until it reaches the max cap for the length of the message. And then it posts it once it's ready. And sometimes you can get some glorious reactions that looks like it reacted to an image, and it's fantastic. So he sometimes has some nice opinions, and sometimes he has some very horrible opinions, and he needs to be silenced. And here's the fun thing: me and my friend, he runs a well, I'm the one hosting it, but like he has his own version of the bot, and we have those two bots communicating with each other. So you can imagine how well that goes. And you can also find him on Twitter. Let's see. Although, if you see anything offensive on Twitter, give me a poke and I will delete it because it's not supposed to be there. He randomly just posts things on Twitter, and you can also people can also just share things on Twitter, but it will be tagged with their Discord name, so I can actually know who sent what. So if someone actually abuses it, I can just deny them permission. Yeah, so some of the things might be not safe for work, and some of it might actually not be safe for life. Is there any more questions anyone have, or should I just start a AI ramble? Well, currently because of the pandemic, there's like nothing to do when it comes to the VMs. But usually, I have Python scripts that I run and that I create, and I need to test them on different operating systems. So I actually just move them into a file share and just test them on my VMs. And also the OS X and the Windows 10 development VM, I compile those scripts into binary too. Because some of it is not GPL licensed, and some of it is. The ones that are GPL licensed, you can find on my GitHub. The ones that are not GPL licensed, I actually sell to companies as a service. And right before this pandemic, I actually nailed a deal that gave, well, I nailed a short development deal, which nailed me about over $1,000, which is not really, which is not bad for someone who is like 70% unemployed. So that money is saved. But yeah, if you enjoy something, just chase it. Like keep doing what you're good at. Keep doing what you like and learn more and improve. Ow. True that, Jalopy. Sometimes you just poke me at the appropriate timings, like just when I'm supposed to go to bed, or right before I stream, like today, or right before I. Well, actually, I don't think you have. I don't think you have messaged me right before I gone to work before. I know someone has. Yeah, and whose fault is that, Jalopy? You should move to Europe, okay? It is all your fault, not mine. I'm used to communicating with people all over the world. Like I have friends who live in Asia, in Australia, in Japan, which is part of Asia, and all over the US. I have some friends who actually live in Africa too. Ah, greetings, neighbor. I'm in Norway. Since Norway just about borders with Russia in the far north. So, greetings, neighbor. How are you doing? What's wrong with your network connections? Consta, there's a small issue with that. I don't drink alcohol, so I have no beer. Yes, I know. I'm a weird Norwegian. So, in Core Timer, what's wrong with your network connections? Like, are you missing Network Manager? Because like, Awesome shouldn't do anything with. Awesome shouldn't touch anything. It should just use the what should we call it? Oops. Like it should just use the NM applet. Make sure that the NM applet is running. Make sure that nmapplet is running. So, that's weird. Awesome shouldn't touch that. Trying to think of what it could be like. I would recommend trying to set the static IP. Set a static IP and change your set your DNS manually, and see if you get internet that way. If you do, then it's your computer not getting the right IP address. Do you know how to set that? It's the first thing I would actually check, though. See if there's anything wrong with the actual configuration and set everything manually. I should just throw this away before I just make too much noise on stream. I'm just fidgeting with random stuff on my desk. And if you use Network Manager, you can use an CLI, and you can do DNS. Is this how you spell address in English? I like it. It's so close to how you spell it in Norwegian. I always mix up the two. And then, if you run this command, oops. Yeah. If you run this command, you should be able to get your config too. Although my network config looks like a freaking nightmare because of let's see, because of VPN, local network, VM network. What more do I have here? Yeah, and the loopback and Docker and stuff like that. So mine looks like a nightmare. Yeah, the only important thing is literally this one. This is my local network. The rest of them are literally virtual devices. And like, is there anything? Oh, okay. I can make that one better. There we go. Now you can also see the device name, which should help a tiny bit. So here you go. Oh, I get an achievement on Twitch. People know me. Nice. Oh, how 100 people watching at the same time. Wow. Yeah, that was from the original raid. Oh. If you just posted a message, Twitch took me off the chat, so I missed it. So could you please copy paste it again if you actually sent one? Oops. Thanks, Twitch. But yeah, I would say set a static IP and DNS and stuff. Good night, Nedro. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, I would recommend setting a static IP just to check if the network configuration is set properly. And if that works, then I would recommend checking your DHCP server or router and see if it's actually providing the right settings. No, IPv6 should not cause the issue. Unless your router doesn't support IPv6, but then, like, the best thing you can do then is just disable IPv6. Like, if you don't use IPv6, it's better for you to just disable it, because there are some security hurdles with having it on if you actually don't use it. Just as a heads up on that. And since you're you can, if I remember correctly, you can just disable it in connection properties. And you just set it to ignore. So IPv6 settings, you can just set that to ignore, and now you do not get an IPv6 address, no matter what. But I actually use IPv6 for some testing, so I need it on. I think next stream I might actually try and compile up some patches for Awesome VM upstream, and well, not Awesome VM, but Material Awesome upstream, because my fork, which Chris has forked, has a few things fixed or added that are not in the original. Like, I wonder where that is. I think it says in no, not layout. It's in theme. No. Oh, I forgot where it was, but there is essentially. I think it's in tags. In tags, I think. Yeah, this one. So I actually set it to use default editor, default social, default game, and stuff like that, and default roofie on here. So when you go here and you just type in your mod key, it will open your default application that you have actually set in the applications config, like minor things like that. So that would be a fun thing to actually do on the other stream. Just dig through all my changes on this and actually compile a patch to send to Material Awesome and just submit it there. Unless I get sucked into Assassin's Creed again, like that is very likely to happen. Oh, really? I need to do that? Ah, that's a bit too small. There we go. Yeah, that's the size I'm usually using. So yeah, there shouldn't be anything in Awesome that did your network configs weird. I suspect there is either your DHCP server that is having a fits, or it is just the IP and static. Well, it's just the network configuration being invalid. I think I'm going to end the stream though. I should make some dinner and then head to bed because I need to wake up for work in like 7 hours. Thank you all for tuning in though. It's been a blast. And it gave me something other to do than just playing games. So thanks for follow, Barkstick. Hey, if any of you have any ideas for what I can cover on Twitch, just literally shoot me a message on Discord. Yeah, we should do it and do it again. I just need to come up with things to actually show people because I'm not really good at coming up with ideas for what to show on Twitch that are technical. Because last time I came up with an idea to stream, all the information just flew over people's heads and they got nothing out of it, and that was not really fun for me. I don't have a Discord link. Literally, just add me on Discord, or just message me on Discord. And I will probably just get people into Chris's Discord. Honestly, well, actually, no. I can give a Discord link. Hang on. Uh, uh, there we go. That is a Discord server you can join. I usually hang around there. Yeah, we're still trying to. We're still working on opening up the Discord server, as far as I know. On Chris's side, there's just a few things we need to sort out first before we can open it to the public again. Yeah, join Chris's Discord because I usually hang around there. I'm a mod there, so you can easily find me there. But at the moment, just use my my Discord server until we sort out the public invites. Because I think we should get that sorted out. I think it's this week. Or it should be done by next week. One of those two. Let's see. Yeah, it should be sorted out by next week. Well, we're hoping to actually have it sorted out by next week. Anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed. I really thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciated that raid. Actually, should we raid someone? Does anyone have anyone that they would like me to raid? Share the love. Ow. No, no, I don't want that. Ow, 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 ow. I honestly can't see the chat right now. This really, really, really sucks. Hang on. The Twitch homepage crashed my browser. So, anyone want me to raid someone? Does anyone have someone they want me to raid? Yes, bad Twitch. Well, it actually froze the whole browser, so I actually had to kill it. Like when I loaded up the Twitch homepage just to see if there was like anyone I knew that was streaming, it loaded up the stream of a DJ that was playing music so hard that my web browser just crashed. Well, I have the chat up now. So do you have any suggestions for who to raid? I think I'm fine on memory, to be honest. Yeah, I'm fine on memory. Okay, well, let's see. There is. Well, there's a person here that is doing a live coding session. So if anyone is interested in coding, we can raid them. Awesome, let's raid them. Oh, I'm sorry for the clicky keyboard. It's a custom built keyboard with brown and blue switches. The loudest keys are brown, are set to be browns, and the rest are brown. I mean, the rest are blue. Okay, you all ready? We're gonna raid now. 3, 2, 1, go.